Welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of my explant surgery journey, and I'm going to go over my experience with surgery, who my surgeon was, my scar treatment, and kind of where I'm at in my healing process. So yeah, let's get right into it. I am 5 weeks post-op. I had my surgery March 8th with Dr. Cohen in Gig Harbor here in Washington State. I had my actual surgery done at the Silverdale Surgery Center in Bremerton, which is about 30 minutes northwest of my surgeon's office at Baby Plastic Surgery. We ended up going down the day before to do my drawings because my surgeon likes to do the drawings the day prior to surgery. And then the first post-op, he likes to see you the very next day just to make sure that everything's going well and that there's no complications, because a lot of complications, especially common ones, can happen within the first 24 hours. So he likes to just see you right away. That way, if something is developing, he can just nip it right there and get it taken care of. So we ended up just staying down there, so we weren't driving back 2 hours, just here, 2 hours there, and just going back and forth. Which I'm really, really glad we ended up doing because I was super nauseous when I came out of surgery. We got there about 6 a.m. and it was kind of empty and I was super nervous, but if you've watched my previous videos, I have been very set on getting this done. If you know anything about implants or if you're on this journey, you know that regardless if you're experiencing breast implant illness, your implants need to be replaced anyway at some point. So I just had already had my left side replaced. If you want to know more about that, I'll link my last video here. But I needed them out. I suffered way too long. I was ready, I was nervous, but I was so ready to have them out. So the entire staff was absolutely phenomenal. They were very calming, they were welcoming, patient with me and all of my questions and concerns. I'm so pleased with the way that they handled everything, and I felt super safe. I felt listened to, and I was able to keep my heart rate down basically till I got in the back and was laid down. So that's a pretty big deal because every surgery I've had, I've been my heart just races the entire time. I think I went into surgery around 7:30 and I didn't get out until I believe around 11 or 12. My implants were under the muscle, and so that is a little bit more that they have to do, especially if your implants are stuck to your rib cage, and they have to do a lot of scraping and reconstruction and all that kind of stuff. So surgery went really well. I'm really grateful there was no complications. I didn't have any bleeding or anything like that. So I woke up, I was really, really nauseous, super dizzy. I sat in the recovery room, I don't know how long, but they did not rush me. They were amazing. They gave me my Teddy Grams, which is kind of my go-to after surgery. And I just sat there and waited until I was able to kind of stabilize myself enough to leave the facility.
In the parking garage, eating my Teddy Grams, saying goodbye to the hotel, goodbye to the hotel.
I was still pretty dizzy by the time I left, but if I closed my eyes, I was able to really stabilize myself, zone in, and not feel like I was gonna throw up. But if I had my eyes open, I was oh, I'm gonna vomit. Thankfully, I did not end up throwing up, which is fantastic because that's one of the biggest anesthesia fears, obviously, is throwing up during anesthesia, and also throwing up right after because you just had your chest worked on. Like I said, closing my eyes, I was able to kind of just zone in, and I was out. And I wasn't really in any pain at this point. I don't know if I had a nerve block or not. I was actually able to take a super deep breath, which I was looking forward to because everybody kind of talks about being able to actually breathe deep breaths, and because you're very restricted with implants. And breathing is really restricted. And so I got to take that deep breath, and it didn't feel super heavy. It just definitely felt tight. And I just had surgeries, but nothing like the original, the initial augmentation. And that is one thing that my surgeon did mention at the consultation when I had brought up pain and kind of what the surgery, what to expect. Obviously your surgeon can't tell you what your pain tolerance is going to be. But he did say, I can almost guarantee that the worst part's over when you got your implants put in. When you get them under the muscle, they have to cut your muscle. That pectoral muscle is cut. And so my surgeon said that is the worst part of the entire process, putting them in or getting them out, is if you have them under the muscle, cutting that pectoral muscle, the worst part. So he's this will be a piece of cake. It should be. He's as long as everything goes well, the pain won't even compare to what it was getting them done. I am one of those people that I was in a lot of pain from my initial breast augmentation. I know some people get through it just fine. I had a really hard time recovering. Pain-wise, just discomfort, lots of discomfort. But I knew that going into it. I did not expect it to be a walk in the park. I did read a lot about it prior when it comes to actual surgery and how they're put in, and I didn't expect that cutting my muscle and sticking something under it was gonna be very comfortable. But Yeah, nothing in comparison, not even close to the amount of pain, more like discomfort in that like your body, if you're small and you have very large implants put in, you take them out and you have this empty cavity and everything's trying to like re-adhere to where it needs to be. And so that's just the discomfort of that. I woke up later that night and I felt amazing for coming out of surgery. I was not dizzy anymore, I was not nauseous, I was able to eat. I walked around a little bit and I went and looked at my drains and wasn't really even paying attention to size. I just felt so good. We had a full-length mirror in the hotel and I couldn't stop smiling. I was so happy. I felt so good. I felt alive already. Like I could feel my body just rejuvenating. I had color in my skin that I had not had forever. So that leads me into the symptoms that have improved so far. My breathing, my expansion, obviously all of that was improved immediately. I noticed the color back into my skin, and not just my face, but my hands, my arms, my chest, everything. Like there was just a warmness to my skin again. Like there was blood flow that maybe was being cut off. I had a lot of pain prior, that like shooting pain down my arm, like something was pinched, like right in here was always like hurting or numb, and it would shoot down my arm, and it was really excruciating in this area because this is where I had, on my left side, had the worst capsular contracture. So I had like a lot of scar tissue, like right around here. I'm looking down because I have another screen here so I can see a bigger screen. But right around this area here was like major scar tissue. I had a really bad capsular contracture on this side, like worse than the right. And so I was always in constant pain. That was immediately gone. My shoulder pain, my back pain, my neck pain, gone. I did have a lot of back pain for a couple weeks just from like not sleeping comfortably, which I just started to sleep comfortably like this week. I'm a tummy sleeper and I haven't been able to sleep on my tummy for like a decade. And so I kind of had to resort to sleeping on my side, neither of which you can do after surgery. So I was stuck, reclined, sitting on my back like this. And that caused a lot of back pain. And a lot of it I think was associated with my body was literally, my upper body was trying to readjust to what it naturally should have been at because for so long it was carrying all of this weight. So unfortunately I was not able to get my implants back, but it was genuinely a misunderstanding. My surgeon felt horrible. He basically, what had happened, he had asked me the day before surgery, are we taking pictures? And I said, yes, that's totally fine. Basically, he was trying to ask me, do I want pictures? Am I just fine with pictures, or do I want to keep my implants? And I did mention at my initial consultation I wanted to keep my implants, but I did not reiterate that before surgery. So it was just a genuine misunderstanding. And like I said, my surgeon felt really bad about it. He wasn't like careless or like, oh, whatever, they're biohazard and left at that. He's like, I am so sorry. I told him like, hey, it's whatever. Like, I just wanted to be able to show you guys that these implants were like, they were like my hands, like one, they were very large. And I'm very small. I'm a very small person, especially my torso is very tiny. So there was a lot of stretching that was done. And thankfully my surgeon did a phenomenal job on the reconstruction that was needed, so I wasn't left deformed because my implants were massive. It was just a lot of weight for my body and caused a lot of pain. And I was basically kind of hunched over like this, like my shoulders were kind of like this for so long because of the weight. And so now if you see like my posture, so if I pull this down, so before I was kind of like this because the weight of my implants, and now I'm actually sitting. I do a lot of yoga and I was extremely hindered, limited with my breath work. And so I'm really, really excited to be cleared for gentle yoga because that's probably been the hardest thing about recovery, is just feeling like a complete couch potato and not being able to do my nightly stretches and my morning stretches. But I vowed that I would baby myself through this process and make sure I heal correctly, because I know what it's like to push my body too hard and to end up bleeding and have a hematoma. So for any of you that have had a hematoma, you know it is excruciating, it is annoying, and it takes forever to heal. So I was off my pain medication about day 6, 7, and I got my drains out on day 10, I believe. And for any of you that are on this journey, drains is a big topic, and a lot of you are like, you know, do I need drains? Do I not need drains? Some surgeons don't require drains, some do. In my experience, I am so incredibly grateful that I had the drains. They were not miserable. Yes, they're uncomfortable. I had my drains here, and there were basically 2 tubes that came out. They drain that excess fluid and blood that it fills up in your empty cavities. And it's not guaranteed that you'll get a hematoma or a seroma if you don't have the drains. Your body can, you know, absorb a lot of that, but you're at a higher risk for that. And to be honest, without those drains, I can't imagine the discomfort that you would feel and the tightness that you'd feel from the amount of fluid you have for the first couple of days. I had so much fluid the first couple of days, and I can't imagine my body having to absorb that and try to like heal everything else. So I was very thankful I had the drains, but I've also, like I said, had a hematoma in the past, and that just, it was more of a comfort thing for me. Thankfully my surgeon required them. So yeah, I got them taken out at day 10 and it did not hurt at all. It did feel weird. It felt kind of like a worm coming out of my body, but it was not painful. So I was really afraid that it was gonna be. So yeah, I got drains out 10 days, and basically I wore my surgical bra for a couple of weeks, and then I put on, this is actually an old sports bra from before with my implants, and it's really funny because it fits much more comfortably now, because with my implants, nothing ever really fit right. And that was the problem with a lot of clothing, is that my waist is really small and my chest was huge. And it's just the way that they were shaped. They didn't look bad, they looked great, but nothing fit correctly. And so my bras didn't fit right. I never wore underwire bras unless I was in the stands. When I was working as a bikini barista, I would wear sometimes underwire if it was part of a lingerie set. I'm just being transparent about it. And other than that, I lived in sports bras because I couldn't go without wearing a bra with my implants. I had to wear a sports bra. I ended up putting this on because I had to wash my surgical bra. I mean, it fits fine. So, and it's super comfortable. Definitely want to wear something that is like zip up or just opens in the front. Usually your surgery center or whoever, your surgeon will provide you with a bra when you come out of surgery that's like opens up in the front, but you definitely want that because you cannot lift your arms. T-Rex and like kind of hunched over for a little bit. This area felt the weirdest. I explained it like it felt really sparkly. Nerves in the chest walls trying to like re-adhere all the little nerves. And so that's what it just felt really fuzzy and just very weird to touch. Not really painful, just very weird. And my muscle, you can feel that the pectoral muscle is not very strong. That obviously has gotten much better. This week feels a lot stronger than it did last week, but I definitely don't think I'm gonna be able to do a push-up or chaturanga anytime in the very near future. But like I said, just from now compared to last week, my pectoral muscles feel much stronger. A few weeks ago, I couldn't even lean back and put weight. So a lot of healing happens each week. So I wanna move on to scar treatment. I am using currently this amazing coconut oil. I got this from Sprouts and it's fantastic. I stand by it. I absolutely love coconut oil. Take in consideration your previous wound healing. Some people's scar are very thick and have keloid scars, and in that case, there's plenty of options. Manuka honey, silicone scar strips. I wanted to have these on hand just in case I wasn't happy with the way that it was healing. Silicone strips are recommended the most by doctors because they work really well. I know that some people don't want to use them because they just like took something foreign out of their body and they're like, I don't want to like put silicone back on my body. But to my understanding, the way that has been explained, like there's not near enough silicone in these to really like make a difference, but do what makes you comfortable. It's your body. Coconut oil has been phenomenal so far. And I did get this as well. I don't know if that's focusing. Another natural, this is also good for like keloid scars, if you scar like really bad. So I haven't used it yet, but it did have a lot of great reviews. So I got that on hand just in case. And obviously if you're not happy with your scars after, like 6 months, a year, there's always laser treatment. There's always lots of other ways to deal with them. When I put on my coconut oil in the morning and at night, I just kind of rub it in really gently and do some scar massage to break up any scar tissue that might be there so it doesn't get hard. I will continue to do that like every single day, because basically the whole point is to just make sure your incisions are just kept moisturized. So yeah, I highly recommend my surgeon, Dr. Cohen at Baby Plastic Surgery in Gig Harbor. If you're in the Pacific Northwest and you're looking for a surgeon, he's phenomenal. He listened to every single concern I had, and I had a ton of questions. I had so many questions and he was patient with me. He answered everything. I had my initial consultation, and that night I came home and I listed out a ton of questions in an email, and he called me the next day and sat on the phone with me for like 30 to 45 minutes, answered all of my questions thoroughly. He did not rush me, and I will ask, I don't care. And that is the best advice I can give you is like, do not be afraid to ask questions. Like, don't worry about how crazy it might sound and how stupid it might sound. It is your body. If it's a good surgeon, they're gonna answer everything and they want you to feel comfortable. So don't be afraid. Don't be held back. Thankfully, I'm a complete freak when it comes to anything like, so if there's something that I'm going through or something I'm curious about, like I've just always been that person that asks a million and one annoying questions. I also consulted with Dr. Leonard prior to Dr. Cohen in Oregon, and he was also fantastic, but I did not want to make that 5-hour drive in the end, which I'm really glad I didn't, but plenty of women have gone to him. He is also someone if you're in the Pacific Northwest, but I can only speak on behalf of my surgeon through the entire process, and I'm so glad I went to him. The entire staff, the entire surgery center, my anesthesiologist. The only weird thing was he gave me something, he warned me about it prior. He's like, I'm gonna give you something right before we put you to sleep, and it's gonna make you feel really, really weird, and many different things can happen. He's like, you could hear really loud ringing, you could hallucinate, but no matter what, it's normal, and we will be monitoring you. So when they got me in the back, he warned me before he gave it to me, and I immediately heard this like sound, and it was like, I remember saying, I am in an actual spaceship. I felt like I was legitimately getting abducted, but it wasn't scary. It was just insanely bizarre, and I don't ever remember going through that. And then I was out and woke up. Really crazy. I am just so grateful that I have an amazing family that made this happen. For everyone that has given me so much support and followed me along this journey. I was so scared for a while that I would not be able to get this done, and I was super miserable. And if you have watched my other videos, it was just a decade of what felt like I'm wasting my life. I'm so grateful for my family and that they made this happen and that they essentially saved my life. So grateful for all the amazing groups, for all of my amazing friends, this opportunity. And if you are someone that is on your journey and you are on the fence about doing this, jump off, get off, do it. You are gonna feel so much better, I promise. Like, I'm not at 100% yet, but I am already feel 100 times better than I felt prior. I hope that I answered any questions for those of you that are on your journey. Thank you so much for watching this far if you have, and if you watched my previous videos. I am so incredibly grateful, and I'm glad to share this because even like I said, even if I can help one person regain their life back, that's what makes it all worth it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will keep you updated throughout my Instagram stories, and I will check back in about 6 months. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.